How's it going, you guys? It's Marshall here, and this year for Christmas, I went out and bought myself 2 BMW M cars. So, what's the story behind the 2 cars? And the funny thing is that these cars couldn't be any more polar opposites of each other. To the left of me, we have E46 M3, immaculate condition. I bought it off the original owner, and it only has 42,000 miles on the odometer. And then to the right of me, we have my E39 M5. Car needs a lot of exterior and interior work. And it has 190,000 miles on the odometer. And before we get into the comments, talk about it, yes, I can tell the hood on this car is completely fucked up. And no, I didn't buy it like that. Unfortunately, I didn't make this video before. I mistakenly didn't close the hood all the way and it flew up while I was driving, smashed into it. I was pretty bummed out, but whatever. We're gonna move on from it, and already got a new hood. Gonna put it back on there, repaint the car. So I actually bought both of these cars last week. I bought this car in Bend, Oregon, had only 41K on the odometer, and I drove it down, put another 1,000 miles on it when I road tripped it down to LA. Felt very privileged to be part of the 1,000 miles in this car's history. Pretty scared at the same time, didn't really want to mess it up at all just because, like I said, it's in such exceptional condition. So on the way down, I stopped by an SF, and I thought, let's go test drive this car. Test drove it, made an offer, and drove this car. Finished driving this car from San Fran to LA, took a flight up the next morning, and bought this car and drove it down that very next day. So, getting into these 2 cars, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the E46 first. Not gonna be too in detail with it, but this is probably gonna be one of the only times this is featured on the channel, just because, like I said, the car's completely OEM, it's completely brand new, and I'm probably gonna do nothing to it as it deserves to stay so. So, let's go over, what a 42,000 mile, one owner E46 looks like. So, I want to talk about this E46 M3 first, just because, like I said, it's a one owner car, and this is probably the only time it's going to be featured on the channel, just because this car is completely OEM and bone stock, and that's what makes it so special. It only has 42,000 miles on the odometer. I bought it off the original owner. I have all the booklets with it, like all the paperwork. I even have the original window sticker, which I don't know, if that's me kind of geeking out about cars, but I thought, that got me super excited when he showed me that, and he showed me the window sticker. Yeah, so this is just what a immaculate 42,000 mile E46 M3 looks like. Paint is in really, really nice condition, as you guys can see. There's a couple, little curb rashes on 2 of the wheels, but not a big deal. I can get that fixed up and touched up. But other than that, just a completely bone stock car in exceptional condition. And there's nothing too crazy about it. It's just a silver M3, black interior, 6-speed. But what makes this car rare and gets me excited when I see it, is the fact that it's so clean and looks brand new, and you don't ever see that these days when it comes to E46 M3s. Usually they're modified, or they look like they've had miles put on them. And just seeing this car in this condition with those miles, something cool about the car. And for me personally, it was cool to sort of drive this car in its purest form, completely untouched, bone stock, and just experience this car for what Jeremy Clarkson and stuff on Top Gear, what they were experiencing when they wrote the reviews about this car in Car and Driver or something like that. And it's just cool to get to drive the car in its purest form. If that makes any sense to you. Yeah, I mean, even if this car isn't your cup of tea, I'm not the biggest sort of low mile OEM car guy, period correct guy, but as you guys can tell by the M5 that I bought. But there's something special, and there's something cool, and there's something that gets your blood flowing about a car in such exceptional condition. So as you guys can see, car's completely bone stock, full interior, completely bone stock interior. It's got the original radio even. The only thing that shows any sort of age on this car really is the bolster wear on the driver's side seat. And unfortunately, all M3s, the seats sort of go through this sort of abuse, just because the leather on here is not the greatest in these BMW M cars. And frankly, it's literally impossible to get in and out of this car without rubbing against that every single time. And I can show you guys my Phoenix yellow car with about 105,000 miles for comparison, so you can see what that looks like over time on the seats. But other than that, yeah, it even has the 6 CD changer and everything. Yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, that's what a 42,000 mile E46 M3 looks like. So now we can go ahead and talk about this car over here, which we'll be seeing a lot more on the channel. All right, you guys, so E39 M5. The main reason I'm making this video is because I wanted to introduce this car to the channel. As you guys can tell, this car needs a lot of cosmetic work. It's gonna need a lot of love, a lot of TLC to make this car, sort of where I want it to be. So why did I buy this car? And the main reason I bought this car is because in the last 2 years, this car has had about $15,000 put into it. It doesn't look like it, but under the hood, this car's had new timing chain guides installed, new rod bearings, new Bison, B's, I don't know exactly how it's pronounced. Vanos units were installed, complete suspension's been refreshed, new bushings, new tie rods, new steering end links were installed, new rear differential, all the rear differential bushings, center support bushing has been replaced, new rear axles, all that stuff that sort of has made me wary of buying one of these chassis and prevented me from buying these chassis have been taken care of. The one reason I was always scared of the E39 M5, for as much as I love this chassis and I always love this car, is that that sort of stuff is super expensive, and I didn't want to be in the boat where this guy was when he bought this car with about 170,000 miles on it. He bought it for $9 grand, he said, and then he immediately went about and the Vanos started ticking, so he did the entire engine, and then he went about refreshing the whole suspension. And I think he just got tired of it and didn't want to, have to deal with making all the other little things on this car nice, cosmetically, and just on the car that, I'm going to sort of address and touch up. So what's done to the car, it has coilovers, so that's nice for me. I don't have to install those, I don't have to buy those and put them on the car. Pretty much just want the car to be OEM. Running the car is an exhaust cutout, and I'll let you hear that. The car sounds really nice, actually. Other than that, let's go over the car. The exterior is pretty rough. I did this to the hood. The car honestly would look pretty decent without that. In the video, I could probably get away with telling you guys this is a super immaculate condition Imola red M5, but frankly, there's a lot of little dings and scratches everywhere on the paint. So, that's why, I'm not too bummed about this hood. I already bought a new one. I got new kidney grills. The ones that were on here at first were black, and I kind of wanted to put the OEM ones on, the chrome ones. For some reason, I'm just in the mood right now these days to be going for like an OEM look on this car, and then just put some nice TE37s on here. Yeah, and then we'll hop into the interior. As you guys can see, the interior is not the best. The dashboard's pretty cracked up over here. It has the wrong gear shift knob. For some reason the guy bought an E46 one, so it doesn't fit properly. I already ordered a ZHP knob, and I have a new shift hooper there that'll make that clean up nicely. The seats in the front are decent. I can get in it. I have a couple little rips in both of them in the seat. But, other than that, I'm not too worried about that. Like I said, I bought this car for the way it drives, and it drives really nicely. The only thing that I sort of am unpleased about is that this gearbox isn't too happy going into second and third gear. That's like the one thing on this car that really shows its age mechanically and in the driving experience. But, unfortunately, that's sort of a problem with this gearbox to begin with, and you add that with the 190,000 miles in. It's not going to be the happiest going into second and third. Oh yeah, other than that, forgot to tell you guys, it has this nice Alcantara steering wheel, which is really nice, and an Android head unit. And then we'll move into the back, and the back is where this car needs the most work cosmetically. As you guys can see, the entire rear of this back seat is cracking and it needs to be replaced. Yeah, but other than the exterior, you know, there's like a bunch of little things on this car that like don't work. Like the windows don't go up and down on the back. The sunroof doesn't work, obviously. And yeah, but honestly, I don't really care about any of that. What I care about is the way this car drives, and it drives really nicely. And there's just a bunch of little things I need to go over on this car to make it, you know, sort of perfect. And I really want to make this, you know, the ultimate driving machine. I think the ultimate driving machine is just a car that you can have fun with, and it looks really good, drives really nice, and you can put miles on it and don't really care about. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys like what you saw, if you guys want to stay tuned for more E39 M5 videos, you know, stay tuned. I'll be doing a bunch of stuff to this car to try to make it look nice. Hopefully, you know, in the near future or sometime eventually, this car will look like it has half the miles or even a quarter of the miles that are on the clock. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you want to see more. Peace.